Are you struggling with unexplained weight gain, specifically fat weight? Are you struggling with fatigue, poor recovery, feeling soft, puffy? How about your sleep? We don't have to feel this way. We can change how we fuel, train, and perform each day to improve the aging process. So stop blaming it. Don't use age as an excuse, but let's adjust and course correct. Let's learn how.
Welcome to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you burn fat, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey, are you an aging athlete? Are you over 40 and struggling to get your desired results? I understand your frustrations. If you're like me, you're trying to get your running back or your cycling back or whatever sport you love to do, and you just can't figure out what's missing in your performance gains. How is your training and fueling program working for you? That's what I do. I personalize your nutrition and health program for you based on a bunch of different things. We collect data, collect clues from nutritional therapy assessment, from a food log with symptoms. Look at your genetics. If you've done something as DNA Fit, look at blood chemistry panels. Let's look at functional lab tests as a Vibrant Wellness wheat zoomer to test if you have leaky gut and sensitivity to wheat, peptides in foods. Look at food sensitivity labs. And Dutch tests, look at your hormones. So we look at all these hidden internal sources of chronic stress that may be impacting your ability to burn fat, improve performance, and longevity. So if you want to talk about how we can personalize your fueling, training, and performance plan, let me know. Set up a discovery call. Head to my website, debbiepotts.net, and reach out. Set up a call and we can chat about how I can help you be the best version of yourself. So you can stop blaming the aging process and instead change your mindset that you're embracing the change, that we train differently in our 40s and up versus what you did when you're 20, 30-year-old. We need to adjust how we eat, when we eat, why and how, but also match our nutrition with our exercise program and add some more health building lifestyle habits into our day. I call this all the holistic method comprehensive coaching program, where I work on individualizing clients' nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, sleep, movement, time outside, digestion and gut health, hydration, and my favorite, happiness, play, and laughter. So if you want to know more how you can be your best self, live your best life, and perform your best, head to debbiepotts.net, schedule a discovery call with me, and we can get started on your new health building journey. You can be that amazing athlete and stop blaming the aging process. Muscle mass. Use it or lose it. Age-related mobility limitations are a fact of life for many older adults. Studies have shown that about 30% of adults over 70 have trouble walking, getting up out of a chair, or climbing the stairs. In addition to making everyday tasks difficult, mobility limitations are linked to high rates of falls, chronic disease, nursing home admission, and mortality. We have a choice. Let's recreate how we are performing each day now so we can create the future self to strive to live each day to the fullest and live our best lives as we age. Don't you want to be the best version of yourself when you are 70, 80, 90 years old? I do. Let's learn how to change the aging process. So I found this article, and it's really ties into what Dr. Gabrielle Lyon has been talking about since I met her 3 years ago and have been following her, and now huge fan of her new book, Forever Strong. And I really think this is important area of opportunity for everyone. Just because you are fit doesn't mean you're healthy from the inside out. And as endurance athletes, we may not do enough strength training. So, as you may start to be retired triathlete as myself, I still train each week, swimming, biking, running, but I'm trying to shift my focus on strength training, muscle mass, sarcopenia, watching my mom age, watching my dad die last year, watching my mom's and my dad's, their friends age and have all these health issues. I don't want to be that way when I'm 80 plus years old, late 70s. Not everyone's 80 yet that's having problems. We can take ownership of our health and start creating our future self by recreating ourselves now. And I think endurance athletes think they're invincible. Just because we train for endurance events doesn't always mean we're healthy from the inside out. That is my goal, to help you learn how to pay attention to those red flags when you're doing too much, when you're not recovering, when you are struggling with your sleep, when your body composition is changing, when your digestion system is just off. We can be intuitive and learn how to fuel, train, and perform, but there's still things that we don't know about unless we do the functional lab testing, Pinoe metabolic testing, assessment, and nutritional therapy intake forms, all that stuff I've been doing with my clients who are the high performers, who are motivated to take ownership of their health. Because spending money on yourself is something not everyone does. You can buy a bike, a new wetsuit, new racing outfit, but for people to spend $400 on a functional lab test, it's amazing how many people back off from actually doing this functional lab testing. Instead of thinking, okay, I really need to know what's going on. I'm sick and tired of guessing and not testing and just trying this and that, being stuck in trial and error. So focus today is what you can do. If you don't want to do lab tests, you don't want to do a functional blood chemistry panel assessment, you can focus on eating more protein, prioritizing that larger protein meals Dr. Gabrielle talks about. The first meal of the day, 30 to 50 grams. Doesn't have to be typical breakfast. Typical breakfast is usually crap. Refined flour, carbohydrates, sugars, scones, muffins, pancakes, toast, orange juice. We can retrain our bodies and improve our muscle tone, muscle composition, body composition by adding in more protein each meal, hitting 100 grams or more per day, 30, 50 grams per meal. Plus, that doesn't hit our goal. If you're working on ideal body weight in grams of protein per day, that's hard to get. 100, 150 grams of protein a day. My clients laugh, think, oh, that's impossible. So I'm trying to share my protein meals that I have on my Instagram. So check out my stories. You can see what I've been doing. Now, we can also do strength training. After you build up a foundation, lifting weights, doing functional strength training, helping your performance when you swim, bike, and run, helping your movement throughout the day. That's important. Core work, balance, agility, plyometrics. And if you look at the research study, this article, I'll share the link. A big culprit for losing our physical abilities as we grow older is the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, which is called sarcopenia. Typically, muscle mass and strength increase steadily from birth and reach their peak around 30 to 35 years of age. After that, muscle power and performance decline slowly and linearly at first, and then faster after age 65 for women and 70 for men. Those findings come from NIA's Baltimore longitudinal study of aging, the longest running study of human aging, which pioneered a series of simple tests decades ago known as the Short Physical Performance Battery to track mobility and muscle performance. This is called SPPB, and it measures an individual's balance, their walking speed, and ability to get out of a chair 5 times, and then rates that person on a scale 0 to 4. However, this article says, such average decline of strength and power with aging can be substantially slowed down by maintaining an active lifestyle. While there's no way to fully stop the clock, it is possible for many older adults to increase muscle strength with exercise, which can maintain mobility and independence into later life. And the article goes on and talks about, this is what you hear about rucking. Addition to changing daily routines, such as turning a walk into rucking, which means wearing a weighted vest or backpack while exercising. He notes key to understanding the range of responses to exercise is knowing how and why our bodies change with age. Perhaps more importantly, how and why these changes can vary person to person. As we get older, functional and biological limitations that can cap exercise endurance, maximize strength, fitness. Some of these limitations can be slowed down through active lifestyle that includes strength training. However, it is difficult to study these limits on normal day-to-day life. So, anyways, you can read the rest of it, but it ties into what I'm learning from Dr. Stacy Sims on the aging female athlete and what Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talks about all the time and shares in her new book. You can look her up on the podcast. She's got a ton of interviews with her book launch out, so you can listen to all those and learn mostly about what the book's about. But you got to get the book because it has great recipes in it and strength routines. But we want to add strength training into our programs. And even if you're doing this already, why don't you help your family members, your parents, your siblings, your friends that might be open to implementing simple strength training exercises in even 2 days a week, ideally 4, but something is better than nothing. And how people can incorporate little exercise snacks throughout the day, getting up, walking the stairs, maybe do a set of squats every time you go through a doorway, or figure out how to do some push-ups on that sofa. So there's habits we can create, but it's hard. It's same thing with improving longevity, as Peter Attia talks about, testing your VO2 max. I know as the owner of Pinoy Metabolic Testing, it's not easy to get to your max. So how many people are willing to push themselves to find out their true VO2 max with a metabolic exercise test, with those last few minutes really having to go to the pain cave? Most people aren't going to push themselves that hard if they're not that athlete, high-performing type. We want to figure out how to train endurance, maybe a long, slow hike for some people, or walk or bike ride. Maybe it's an hour is long. Strength training, working on that resistance training, and adding HIIT, sprint training, and plyometrics when appropriate. So we want to look at how we can improve our exercise and our nutrition and lifestyle habits, because remember, you can't out exercise a bad diet. You can't out supplement poor lifestyle habits. Chronic stress impacts all efforts for all of this. So if you are stressed out, burn the candle at both ends, totally on your way to breakdown and burnout, as I did to myself, it's not going to help change your body composition and get your metabolic health markers improved if you are experiencing chronic stress. So we want to prioritize that first. Cardio exercise, VO2 max training, what zones to be in. That's what we do with the metabolic testing. So we look at that VO2 max testing with the Pinoy and figure out how we train which zones you need to train in based on what we identify in a test as your limiter. Do you need more zone 2? Do you need more zone 3, zone 4, zone 5? How much should you spend time in each zone every week? So we want to figure that out by assessing what you're doing now, or ideally do a test. But most people can't do a test, so we can just kind of review. Let's look at your workout schedule. How are you feeling? What are your goals? What are your schedules looking like this week, this month, this quarter? And then we want to add in strength training, because we want to add in those heavy weights, getting to muscle failure. Because why? As we age, what happens? We lose muscle. As we said before, sarcopenia is the age-related wasting away of muscle. Muscle is correlated with strength, balance, mobility, endocrine function, avoidance of all-cause mortality, and the prevention of a host of chronic diseases. I'm reading an article. Training to muscle failure, the point of which we can't do another repetition with perfect form, increases our fast twitch muscle fiber recruitment. These fibers aren't defined primarily by their speed. Instead, they're defined by their power. As we age, we lose more fast twitch muscle fibers as compared to slow twitch. And this contributes to greater reduction in muscular strength and power. So in our quest to improve the aging process, what do you need to do? Train to muscle failure when you've built up your foundation, and on the last few reps, attempt to lift the weight slower or faster. You can change it so you are starting to get to that muscle fatigue. The key is to have intent to move the weight quickly at the very end is another little trick. So the last few reps should be challenging. And as I was saying before, we need to increase our protein intake. Doesn't mean eating more calories. It means shifting your focus to eating your healthy, clean fats, not dirty keto, clean keto. But I don't like saying the word keto. I mean, eat your protein that comes with natural fats as your grass-fed animal fats, your wild-caught fish. Naturally, you're going to have some fat with that protein. Using olive oil when you're cooking low temperature, or adding it to your food that's cooked, and use your animal fats for cooking as you save the fat from your bacon. And once you cook your meat, maybe you cook some vegetables in there. I have been really focusing on prioritizing my protein, and I'm not being a carnivore. I'm just doing an animal-based diet, prioritizing my protein, eating vegetables if I feel like it. And that might be more root vegetables, as Neil made these amazing sweet potato, kind of French fry sticks. And I had spaghetti squash with meat sauce today. And I found, last night I had a seafood Cobb salad out at a restaurant. So the salad did have some iceberg lettuce and some tomatoes chopped up. But, I'm not seeking that. I'm seeking my body as craving protein. So I know I need that more, because your body will tell you what you need. I don't feel full and satisfied unless I eat protein. And I'm taller. I can consume a lot to get full. So I know I need protein. If I have just potatoes and, nature's carbs, I'm still hungry, searching for something else. So if you're like me, you may do better prioritizing protein, getting kind of that fatty meat, or adding some butter. I will feel better and eat slowly, and I need digest enzymes to break that food down, or else it's sitting in my system for a long time and not breaking down, and that will cause problems. So you want to aim for 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight, or some people say per pound of body mass a day, lean body mass. I find it easier to get that calculation from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon saying 1 gram of ideal weight for protein. So you want to weigh 125 pounds. That's your comfortable, realistic weight. That's what your protein goal is for the day. But at least everyone should be striving for 100 grams or more. So if you do 30 grams a meal, we'll do the math, it's still not quite 100. So we need to add in some essential amino acids, as I use Kion, or there's some other brands you can look at. I can't do stevia, so I haven't found a amino acid drink that doesn't have stevia, and I don't want sweetness. I don't like those sugars, so it's hard. I have to do a handful of capsules, which isn't ideal, but I can't eat enough throughout the day to hit my 150 goal of protein. So lifting weights 2 to 4 times a week. Total body workouts, upper body day, lower body day. You can add in HIIT training in between that when you feel good. Maybe you do a workout and then you finish with some sprint training. Or when you go do a run or a bike workout, you shorten it from, maybe you usually go like me, hour to 2 to 3 hours on a weekday bike ride. Now it's an hour ride with a warm up, warm down, middle. I'm doing some intervals, sprints on the hills. Less is more. We know how to do the long distance cardio. We don't need endurance training. We need strength. Now, I've talked 100 times about Dr. Stacy Sims, so you're probably sick of me saying aging female athletes needs different strategies to improve their body composition and performance as we age with the lower estrogen and progesterone. So thinking about working legs, back, chest, and arms, thinking about what you can do to improve your strength. Focus on exercises that will also add in balance, coordination. So maybe doing some ladder drills, some tire hop kind of things. But adding in the high intensity interval training into the strength workout is a good way to stack it together. The HIIT training is short bursts of intense exercise with periods of rest or low intensity exercise. So I like to add in, say I was doing rope slams today, and then I was doing some core work. Or maybe I'm doing chest press on the bench, and then I was doing squat jumps, kind of squat hops in between. So you can be creative and create, 2 to 3 exercises, circuit through them, and add in some recovery time. So Dr. Sims is big on proper hydration and fueling around the workout, making sure you have enough calories on board and avoiding that low energy availability, but really prioritizing post-workout. When you're doing a hard workout like that, you need that protein with some carbohydrates. I add healthy fats, but I made a shake today, bone broth protein from Paleo Valley and Kion whey protein unsweetened. Then I added some frozen avocado chunks that I got from Sprouts, a little bit of sunflower nut butter, unsweetened for some flavor, and ice and water and some mushroom adaptogens. I had that post-workout and some amino acids. So you can do your protein and fueling, just makes you have to think a little bit and prepare in advance. So remember, for females, as we lose estrogen and progesterone receptors, that sensitivity, we have changes. We need to train differently and add in that super high intensity work for that metabolic control and work on getting your body to use fat for fuel, improving that lipid uptake we were talking about. And that's what the sprint interval training will help with. And then increasing your body composition, the lean body mass will help increase your lean mass. Now, I would still like to see your full thyroid panel, blood chemistry assessment, and microbiome and Dutch tests. But if we're just able to do blood chemistry, let's look at how you are able to, look at body composition. Let's look at your muscle tissue and your lean body mass and your fat mass. So lifting heavier loads is really helpful. We want to change how we're training instead of doing that suggested amount of 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week is not helping us anymore. So we want to make sure we're not doing the standard, okay, just do cardio, do elliptical, do all this running, biking, cardio machines. As Dr. Stacy Sims says, and I've said this many times, that moderate intensity exercise is not hard enough to stress the body the way we need it to create adaptive responses. It's a hard enough intensity to raise cortisol. But when we are men and women, not just women in perimenopause, but we're already in a sympathetic drive. We already have elevation in cortisol. And if we do a long, slow distance or excessive chronic cardio, we are raising cortisol, which is another reason why we need to add some fuel in post-workout to get the body out of that catabolic state and get into the anabolic state. We don't want to be breaking down and being stressed out. We want to tell your body, hey, I'm safe, workout, stress is over, we're good, we're on to recovery, everything's great, let's refuel and repair and get stronger. And that's remembering to fuel the right way with good quality nutrition post-workouts, because that is when you get stronger. It's not while you're working out, it's the recovery time. So resistance training, they talk about doing 10 to 12 exercises, but they don't talk about load, reps, and sets. So we want to look at, for women, instead of doing that 10 to 12 reps, 15, 20 reps of light weight, start to shift your workouts to doing that 1 to 6 repetitions, doing 3 to 5 sets of that. And you should be in and out of the gym under 45 minutes. That's how you can change your body composition. Heavy lifting, sprint training, and plyometrics. They're essential for the menopausal woman, but I think for all of us endurance athletes, because we are different than men. Men are different than women, but our training needs to change as we age. So see lots of articles on Dr. Stacy Sims' blog and listen to her podcast. Even the one she did with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is great. But they found in studies that power training may be superior to improving physical function in healthy older adults. The researchers show that power fades more rapidly than strength as we age. The ability to react and exert force quickly is going to be more helpful for preventing falls and improving function than strength alone. So you can help your parents improve their aging process and avoid falling by getting them to do some strength training, maybe some squats over a chair, maybe holding onto something and practicing stepping up, stepping down, moving laterally, sideways, getting some ankle band work. They can do some simple things at home or with bands, and ideally go to the community gym or clubhouse, as my mom's in Sun City, Palm Desert. There's lots of older people doing strength training on the machines, but we want to add that balance work. So heavy lifting to maximize your strength, adding in some safe plyometric training to improve our muscle explosiveness, bone density, sprint interval training, applying strength to speed. So we need to have that, and that sprint training will help your endurance. So we want to add in that strength training and work on improving our body composition, our metabolism, bone strength, and cardiovascular health. 3 to 5 sets, 6 reps or fewer, full rest in between. Really good form. Dr. Stacy Sims prefers big lifts as deadlifts, squats, lunges, and other Olympic lifts that spread out the force among your major muscles, connective tissues, and joints. So adding that in, working on a push, a pull, so chest and back, maybe an overhead thruster, working shoulders, but squat press, adding in some lunges, but different directions. So we're not just one plane of motion. We want to work kind of diagonally, laterally, and then adding in some step up to balance, holding some kettlebells or some weights, and work on adding those plyometrics. Maybe you're like me and not very good at jumping. So starting with just a 12-inch box or 5 inches, 2 inches, jumping up and jumping down, sound, soft, smooth landing helps our bones and muscles come from pushing off gravity, and we're landing back down softly. So those really help with building bone, which we lose as we get older, especially the women with their lower estrogen. Plyometrics triggers what Stacy Sims talks about, the epigenetic changes in our gene transcription. So when we do plyometrics, Stacy Sims writes that we wake up with very quiet genes inside our muscle cells that stimulate those cells to improve power and even the composition of muscle itself in the way that improves the integrity of the muscle, its contractile strength, and response reaction time. They also improve mitochondria function and insulin sensitivity, which are important for menopausal women because we become more insulin insensitive as we age, and mitochondria are not functioning at optimal levels. So we can help that by changing how we train. So starting with a simple squat jump she talks about on her blogs, you can put your feet shoulder width apart, feet turned out a little bit, extend your arms, squat down, arms extend behind you, and then your butt drops down below knee level, and then quickly extend your legs and jump in the air. Nice, easy jump squat. You can do it right now. You want to land softly, immediately dropping into another squat. Try that. She says 8 to 10 times, but even start with 5. Less is more when you're starting. Start with 1 set and work up to 2. Easy. And then lastly, sprint interval training, SIT. Dr. Stacy Sims in this blog, you can read how to power your way through menopause. I think all of us need to do this. Endurance athletes, we tend to do lots of long, slow distance training, or maybe you're training too much in zone 3 because you're working out with other people and you're pushing the pace and adding that cortisol. Sprint interval training is a great way as we age to improve the top end. So when I do Pinot metabolic testing, this would be zone 5. Proper interval training, you should know by now, I say this every time. Zone 5, you go less than a minute, all out. A sprint interval training is 30 seconds or less. So we want to, stand up, we want to do a sprint interval training, 30 seconds or less, but the recovery might be 1 to 2 minutes. You want to get that heart rate back down into zone 1 before you go back to zone 5, because we want to go hard again, so we need proper recovery. So the best type of high intensity interval training for menopausal women is the super short, sharp sprint style intervals Stacy Sims talks about all the time. 30 seconds or less. When you extend your intervals past 60 seconds, you can increase your stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol, that stress hormone, is not good or bad, but when we have it chronically elevated, it is not so good. You can read all about it in my book, Life is Not a Race. Cortisol is a good surge of energy, but you don't want the stress hormones levels to stay elevated longer than necessary to get the job done. This is huge, you guys. We, endurance athletes, not just menopausal women, need to be aware of cortisol from excess chronic cardio, the way we're training as endurance athletes. If you've done this for a long time, I started doing triathlons and long distance stuff 25 years ago. Long, slow cardio, I love it. I love going for a 4-hour bike ride. But our cortisol, if it's going to be up. We need to not do such long, slow stuff. Sprint intervals is different. It is acute stress. It's short, right? We just said 30 seconds or less. Go hard, recover longer. Sprint intervals will help just get that cortisol up for a moment and then come back down. Remember the leaky faucet, drip, drip, drip versus turn the water on, turn it off. Difference of sprint interval, we're turning it on, turning off versus chronic cardio, long, slow distance, we're having the drip, drip, leaky faucet. Sprint intervals, you get the benefits, improved insulin sensitivity, stronger mitochondria, improved fat burning, especially where we want it, that deep visceral fat, and even boost your growth hormone after you finish. So, Tabatas, they're 4 minutes long. Technically, they're 20 seconds all out and you recover for 10, but you're only doing that 8 times is a true Tabata. So a sprint interval training, I would argue, is what I talk about with Daniel Krumbeck in my podcast. It's 30 seconds or less, all out, and then 1 to 2 minutes recovery, not 10 seconds. So in order to go hard again, you have to recover. So again, drstacysims.com, go to her blog page, How to Power Your Way Through Menopause. So how can you get stronger now? How can you improve in endurance sports as you age? Because we tend to might get slower, not faster. I'm on a mission to improve my strength, power, body composition. So that's why I'm sharing everything with you I'm learning, because that's kind of where I am. So lifting weights, eating protein, taking that essential amino acids, recovery between sets, managing your stressors, your sleep. So lifting heavy weights, getting to temporary fatigue, multiple sets, heavy weights. Work on getting your protein in nutritionally per day, eating your ideal weight in pounds of grams of protein a day, 30 to 50 grams each meal, having not necessarily morning, but your first meal and your last meal, hitting that 30, 50 grams of protein. If you're not getting enough protein, again, the essential amino acids, a great way to sneak them in, or even branched chain amino acids. It has to have that right amount of leucine, 2 to 5 grams, 3 grams of leucine. Some people say at least 5 grams of leucine per day. And it's hard to do if you're doing plant-based diet. You have to almost double up of your plant sources to hit that leucine that you need for muscle protein synthesis. Getting your sleep is so essential to all of this. So if you're not managing your stress, you're not working on sleep hygiene routine, good luck. It's not going to work. Maybe it might be working a little bit, but over time, sleep and stress impact your ability to build muscle. Why? Go back to the words catabolic breakdown, anabolic buildup. If you are not recovering and repairing, you're not getting the muscles to repair and get stronger. Cortisol acts to break down as catabolic. And important article that's in this, I'll put the link to, says if you're not sleeping well, your cortisol, testosterone, and growth hormone levels all suffer. These are major part of your hormones needed for muscle building. Cortisol acts to break down muscle. After a single night of sleep deprivation, your body is working against you. If you push hard through, no matter what, you feel likely worse. You feel like crap. Chronic cortisol issues, which is what happened to me, not high, not too high, not too low, the Goldilocks effect. We need the testosterone growth hormone boost from our exercise, increases while we sleep. So if you're not getting that sleep, you're going to miss out on that little dose of growth hormone testosterone. They're released in your deepest cycles of sleep. So if you wake up, you're not sleeping well, if you're tracking your sleep, if you have people that are loud, snoring loud next to you, or if you don't have a sound machine, or if you don't have a cold, dark room, working on these reasons why you might not have a quality sleep. So you want to make that a priority. And working on your mindset, I think, is important. So this was an article in triathlete.com, menopause in athletes, surefire strategies to train and race strong, blah, blah, blah. So there's lots and lots of information out there. But to summarize, keep it simple. Eat protein. Get your ideal grams of protein, ideal body weight in grams of protein throughout the day. That means no one meal a day. You can do 2 meals a day, and then you have to get a shake and add some essential amino acids. Remember, Kion, Paleo Valley are great products. You can save 20%, I think, 10 to 20% with our code LowCarbAthlete. Lifting heavy weights is really important. I'm a big fan of going to the gym in the morning, getting started that way, but adding in the good strength training, then working out, 25 to 30 grams of protein after that with 5 to 7 grams of branched chain amino acids, 30 minutes for women, men 3 hours. Getting your body out of that breakdown state. Adding in the HIIT training. Short intensity interval training or HIIT training could be burpees within your workout. Maybe adding some jump rope or speed skaters, tire hops. So lots of information out there, but just keep it simple. Work on what are you doing now? What could you do differently that we talked about today that you're not doing? Where could you fit in workout? You're not adding more to your plate. We already have too much going on. So look at how you can do less cardio workouts. Maybe if you're a triathlete, you swim, bike, and run are 4 days a week, make them 3 days a week. Maybe you're doing your run workout, we'll add it into the gym workout that you're lifting weights and then you're doing 20-minute run and do that with sprints at the finish, or there's different techniques you can do. So we want to kind of stack things and not add more. You probably could get more results by doing less workout. So it's quality over quantity. Less is more, as I always say, but figuring out heavy strength training with some HIIT and sit intervals and plyometrics. Less long cardio sessions. So I've changed my bike workouts and my swim workouts and my run workouts to have more intervals and not do the large volume. I'm focusing on spending more time in the gym because that's how my body changes. I want to get stronger. I want my body composition to change because I'm not happy as I'm not where I want to be. And I'm not going to blame the aging process and use, oh, my estrogens are so low, my testosterone is so low, and my thyroid. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Might need to supplement, but I know you can't out-supplement all the lifestyle, exercise, nutrition hacks, right? You still need to do the work. You can't take a pill to build muscle. You actually have to lift heavy weights and eat the protein. Yes, you can just lift or you can just eat heavy protein meal planning, but even better results when you add in the strength. So a good article I saw too is on the HIIT training that can improve your VO2 max and working on the HIIT intervals, not every day, maybe 2-3 days a week. And the HIIT training helped improve metabolic adaptations and improved the body composition with the strength training. So the HIIT research is out there for years, but to adapt to those stressors as HIIT and sit training and heavy strength training, you have to have the proper recovery. So with that, I want to hear about what you are doing this off season for your strength training program and how you are changing how you fuel, train, and perform each day, each week for this winter season. So if you are 50 and older, 40 and older, you might start taking your health more seriously because what you're doing now might not be best for your quality of life when you are 70, 80, 90, or 100 years old. What you do now sets you up for success in the future. So my new aha is recreating our current self to improve our future self. And if you're watching your parents' age, pick people out that you see look amazing. They're doing great. They're 80 and they're still moving and being strong. My triathlon buddy just turned 80, which I need to call him. We did Ironmans together for years. He's still doing marathons and bike races and getting out there. He's challenging himself. But important part is doing the strength and the protein. Not eating the crappy processed foods, not eating foods out of a bag in a box, inflammatory foods with all the vegetable oils, refined flours, refined sugars, but eat real food that balances your blood sugar. Put in those quality nature's carbs in and around your workouts to improve your performance in your high intensity interval training. Help time your protein to get your body into a anabolic state, recovery, repair, and rebuild. Prioritize your sleep by how you start your day and how you end your day. as well as middle of the day, not drinking coffee. Get that caffeine out of there in the afternoon. Manage your stress. Write in a gratitude journal. Find people that make you laugh. Take a day that you just play and explore. Do something new. I think as high-performing athletes, high performers in general, we tend to take life too seriously, and we need to let loose a little bit, not get drunk and be crazy drunk, wild, intoxicated, but play and do childlike activities like run on the beach and do some cartwheels and run into the water, go hiking and play in a playground. I mean, there's things that we need to do besides just training 24/7, especially athletes. They just don't know when to stop. You don't need to always do another race. So maybe break it up. Plus they cost so much money. So save your money, do some lab testing instead. And let's talk soon. So DebbiePotts.net. This was another episode of Real Thoughts with Debbie Potts, how to get stronger as we age. As I'm on a mission to live my best life and be my best self, my second half of my life. Hopefully you are as well. And it's my birthday coming up here, November 5th. So even more reason to get serious about changing how I train to improve that body comp and my fueling. All right, over and out. Hey, my fellow aging endurance athletes, just a reminder, if you like what you listened to today, make sure to share this episode with your community. Head to DebbiePotts.net to set up a free discovery call to learn more about my personalized coaching programs, especially if you are on a mission as myself to improve the aging process and start training to be my best self when I am 80, 90 years old. So I am on a mission to live my best life and be my best self the second half of my life. So if you're on the same mission as me, head over to my website and YouTube channel to learn more ways to improve the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Before you go, don't forget to check out one of my favorite products to improve the aging process by getting stronger, faster, more powerful. I like to use Kion essential amino acid capsules. They're unsweetened Kion whey protein and also their creatine and colostrum. I'll throw those into my shake. So check out Kion at getkion.com and use our code lowcarbathlete to save. And essential amino acids we talked about today, that they help repair and recover. So as they say on Kion's website, workouts are just part of fitness. You must be able to adequately recover day after day. And in order to maintain consistent exercise routine that will help you look, feel your best, we need to add in proper recovery tools, and that includes nutrition. So essential amino acids help us repair our muscles, as essential amino acids fuel muscle protein synthesis, which is what helps our muscle tissues repair after being broken down during exercise. They help reduce muscular damage. Amino acids have been shown to mitigate exercise-induced elevation of muscle damage markers in the blood, which means less damage to your muscle after exercise and faster recovery. Decrease soreness. Essential amino acids have been shown to reduce muscle soreness after exercise. This means you can bounce back faster between workouts and always hitting the gym feeling rested and recovered. So by boosting our energy levels so we can work out longer and harder, not necessarily longer, but just more quality workouts, and enhancing our body's ability to build muscle to change our body composition, help our recovery so we can hit the gym or hit the pavement, another workout. We want to match our training and fueling. So check out the products at Kion that are always reformulated to be the best product based on research, backed by Ben Greenfield as a co-founder. So aminos are essential part. So if you can't eat enough protein, you can add supplements in. So that's what supplements are for. Supplement what we can't get enough of from our diet. So check out Kion Aminos. Their protein powder, good for pre and post workout. Even you can take them during your longer workouts. All right, enjoy. Let me know how you like them and how you feel after your workouts.
Thanks for listening to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at debbiepotts.net. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.